Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another BPTV live here on a Sunday. And we are getting into my top 5 supplements for BJJ. Now, people often ask me, what do I take? Now, some of the things I'm going to recommend aren't necessarily what you should like. What I take isn't necessarily what you should take. So I'm going to give some qualifications on what I say, what works for me and why, and then how you can go back to making that work for you. So this is like pretty important. And I'm going to start with 2 key points before I get into the 5. I'm not going to take all your time tonight. I'm going to keep it short and sharp so that you guys can take the most out of this. And really, I'm not going to waste time bagging supplements I don't like or I don't prefer, because I feel like that's not helpful. That's just me satisfying my own need to bag things. So, guys, first thing when we're talking about supplements, there's 2 things we need to know. First of all is, what are you missing right now? Now, you can only know this if you get a blood test. Now, there's so many people out there like, oh, should I take this? Should I take that? I'm like, okay, well, when was the last time you went to the doctor and you got a full checkup and you actually had a blood test to check, how's my iron levels? How's my zinc levels? How's my copper levels? Manganese, testosterone, growth hormone, like everything. Do a full scale blood check to see where you might be lacking. And then that's going to inform you as to what you might need to supplement. Because right now you might be fine. Like for the longest time, I have been iron deficient. So on my mum's side of the family, my sisters, my mom, my grandma, my aunties, they're actually anemic. And I, for a long time, battled with low iron. And then more recently, in the last kind of couple of years, I've really worked hard on my iron supplementation, and that's really helped me. And we're going to get into minerals and how important they are for getting you to recover. So that's what I wanted to say. If you don't actually have a good picture of what's going on internally, then what are you doing? You actually have no real idea. So then you just trying to layer on pills and powders isn't going to help you. I hope that makes sense. Then the second thing is like, how is your food balance? Are you eating a good variety of foods, or do you just eat the same old thing? Now, of course, there's staples to our diet, which give us our macros, our carbohydrates, our protein, our fat, our fiber, right? Like that's key. But you've got to say, is there a diversity to your eating? Are you eating many different colored vegetables? Do you eat fruits? Do you only eat takeaway on the weekend, or do you kind of eat takeout and fast food 4 or 5 times a week? Are you eating mainly just bars and powders and not eating real foods? And do you even cook your own food? So this is really important. If you hear me saying that and you're like, probably not, I'm not really doing that, or yeah, I probably should, but I don't. That is the key step. If you're not eating well and eating a diverse range of foods, which are going to give you all these different vitamins, minerals, and nutrients like enzymes, which is what's kind of missed. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. Like I was talking to a friend of mine today, and she's lovely human, amazing athlete. I admire her so much. But she's telling me how much vitamin C she takes. She takes like 3 grams. We're talking like 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day in a supplement form. And then I was like, okay, slow down a second. How much capsicum do you eat? Because red capsicum is actually exceptionally high in vitamin C. You may not know that. A red capsicum per 100 gram has 17 times the vitamin C of an orange. So for the longest time, we've been told, oh, drink orange juice, eat oranges, vitamin C. Yes, for sure. It does have vitamin C. All citrus fruits have a certain amount of vitamin C. But red peppers, like bell pepper, if you're seeing this, you're in the States, you're like, what the hell is a capsicum? A bell pepper has a huge amount of vitamin C. So if you're really trying to boost your vitamin C intake, get red capsicum in your life and have it like fresh, like raw. Don't process it, don't sun dry it, none of that, because it's the enzymatic nature of it that makes it bioavailable. That's the thing I also want to talk about is just because it's got, oh, you have X amount of powder going in, it doesn't mean that you absorb it. So bioavailability is a huge factor when you've got to have a look at your supplements, because if you're having some really cheap low grade supplements, the bioavailability may be low. So we're going to skip past that. But just to say, if you're not eating a great diversity of foods, if you're just eating like brown, white, and beige looking foods, you're not getting enough nutrition in. Now, if for some reason you have problems with your immune system or you have problems with your digestion, supplementation is going to help you. And I'm just going to give you guys my top 5 as to how that relates to me. And then I'm going to discuss how that can relate to you, even if you don't have the requirements I have. Cool. All right. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, first cab off the rank, magnesium. I'm going to put it in. Here we go. If you're here and you have some questions today, feel free to just hit me up and say hello. I always appreciate you guys saying what's up. I see there's a couple people tuned in and viewing, but I never really know who it is till you say hello. Magnesium, guys, why? Magnesium helps reduce muscle soreness. It helps with muscle system, your nervous system replenishment. It helps with drawing calcium into the muscles for muscle contraction. And it is fantastic for lowering your nervous system tonus. So that enables you to sleep deeper. Sleeping equals steroids. Now, there's plenty of people in jiu-jitsu taking steroids and they ain't sleeping properly. My guy, Harry Hat, what's up? Appreciate you. But that's the thing, improving the quality of your sleep. Now, I'm someone for the longest time, I had too much caffeine, right? And I've backed it right off, even though you may not believe it. I'm down to just 2 coffees a day. Doubles, but 2, just saying, 2 down from 5. So that's the thing. Caffeine has a crazy ability to keep you going, but can really borrow from tomorrow and deplete you. And so that's the thing. When I'm trying to enhance my sleep, I want to get deep sleep, I'll bring it in. Oh, what up, Jaden? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you, man. Basically, magnesium has like all these compounding effects to be able to help you relax and recover. So my number 1 supplement, which I take prior to bed, is magnesium. My preferred magnesium supplement is Bioceuticals. It's kind of expensive. It's a bit exy. You can get it from the chemist. It's got a blue and white label, little gold trim around it. It's usually what nutritionists kind of prescribe in terms of grade of supplement. And so the sleep formula specifically, the Ultra Muscles Magnesium Night Formula, check it out. It is the bomb. All right, my friends, number 2 for me, iron. So I do eat red meat probably twice a week. If I'm really going hard in my training, I eat more. Like I said, I'm iron deficient, but this is where we're going to talk about minerals, guys. So for most of you out there, if you've got a good diet, you've probably got a good dose of vitamins in your diet. So you might even be taking like a multivitamin now, B vitamins, vitamin C, all these things. They're mainly water soluble, which means they go in easy and they go out easy. Have you ever had that where you like take a B vitamin, it's like bright orange or bright yellow, and then the next thing you're like peeing out like volcanic orange? You're like, oh, what's going on with my bladder? Right? Like, no, it just goes in, it goes out. Like you do absorb some of it, but not always. So think this is quite important. Fat soluble is much harder to get, fat soluble nutrients, and they're much slower to leave the body. So that's the thing. If you have too little of them, you're going to really struggle. But if you have too many of them, you're also going to struggle. So iron, case in point, I can never really have too much iron. My iron levels are so low. Now, iron is broken up into 2 major components. You have heme iron and non-heme iron. Non-heme iron comes from non-animal sources. So think hemoglobin, think blood. Heme iron comes from animals. It's from eating the blood of another animal, specifically red meat, lamb, beef. There is some in shellfish. There's a little bit of iron in chicken sometimes, but essentially it comes from the blood. You're ingesting the blood of another animal. Now, if you're vegetarian, man, full respect to you. Non-heme iron is helpful, but if you're iron deficient, I believe you can get some lab kind of made heme iron, which is an animal derivative. So good luck with that. Why do I need iron? Because I want to punch hard all day. I get up 4:30. I want to get the max out of the day, and I am done by 7 p.m. And then I'm chilling. So that's the thing. I need my highest energy whenever it's called on, whether I'm doing jiu-jitsu or I'm training clients or I'm writing content for my book. Jugo, the power of jiu-jitsu. No, like I'm always shameless plug. I'm always looking to get the max out of the day, which requires high energy. And if you're trying to take oxygen from here and bring it to your muscles to create energy, you need iron. It is absolutely the key in terms of making sure your red blood cells can carry oxygen to the working muscles. If you're low in iron, you may not know it, but generally it will come. You'll see dark rings under the eyes. Person might be a bit pale, and really it comes from low energy, or like low energy is a result of low iron. So it's super important. You don't have to get it from meat, red meat specifically, but that is probably one of the best places for you to get it if you're happy to eat that. Otherwise, there's plenty of supplements you can get. Now, if you get your blood test and you find out you're low in zinc, you're low in copper, you're low in manganese, red meat has all of those things in it. Also, oysters. If you're happy to eat oysters are like a multivitamin, multi-mineral. Now, some of you might be like, I don't like oysters, but I'm telling you, even if you don't dig them, just having like 2 or 3 oysters just once a week will make a massive difference in your testosterone levels, your growth hormone levels, and just your overall sense of well-being, because it's a multi-mineral. That's the thing. We get lots of vitamins. We don't get a lot of minerals. So if you go to a health food store and ask them like, hey, how can I get this mineral? Do you have a supplement for that? They're not that expensive. Get around it, but get the blood test first. Now, number 3, vitamin D. Why? Why is vitamin D so important? So look, vitamin D is cheap. I mean, other than sunlight, and the way that we absorb vitamin D is through our eyes. So a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh, I'm getting vitamin D through my skin. You don't actually have the receptors in your skin to absorb sunlight. It feels good, but it's through the eyes. But we're always wearing sunglasses, right? Like, oh my God. Hopefully that comes up as the thumbnail. That'd be hilarious. But basically, you need to go out. You need to expose yourself to like bright sunlight to regulate, melatonin. But taking it in through the eyes is the key way that we get that source of vitamin D. Now, if you're inside all day, or you live in a cold country and you don't see the sun, or you live in Melbourne, mind you, Melbourne's cooking right now, but usually not. In Australia, obviously, we've got a lot of UV. We're scared of skin cancer, so we hide away from the sun. Basically, super important for you. You need to supplement vitamin D, and it's something that takes a little while to like accumulate, because it's like you'll generally, when you get it, it'll be in a little capsule, which will have a little bit of oil in there because it is fat soluble, like I was saying before, and it takes a little while for it to accrue and for you to take it on board. So there will be a period of not loading, but you absorbing it, and then your level should be pretty good. So what I'd recommend is, if you get tested and you are low in vitamin D, which a lot of us are, especially us white skin whiteys, it's really important to make sure that you do supplement with it, because there's 2 huge reasons. Number 1, vitamin D is absolutely essential in you being able to generate muscle contractions. That's the thing. A lot of people don't realize the higher your level of vitamin D, the stronger you are. That's right. Collagen, protein, yes. Well, it's not even for injuries. Collagen, protein is good. Sorry, guys. I'm just answering Mark's question here. Mark W. What up? Wu-Tang. Collagen protein as a source of protein is great, right? Ankle sprain grade 2. Thank you. Great work to you too. You've got damaged ligament. Now, the rate of healing actually depends on lots of other factors. Protein is one of them. But you could be ingesting, like, don't misunderstand. Protein is protein. You could get it from soy. You could get it from collagen. Just because you're eating the ligaments of other creatures doesn't mean it translates straight away to being better for your ligaments. That's a misunderstanding. Pretty much the majority of our bodies are made up of protein. So whether you're getting it from an animal source or a vegetable source, your body will assimilate it if it needs it. Here is the problem. If you have a joint injury, you need blood circulation. If you don't get new blood in around the joint, it can't remove the waste products, and it can't get oxygen and protein in there and all the little immunoglobulins to heal stuff. Does that make sense? So yeah, man, definitely. If you want to supplement with collagen protein, that's fine. But understand that collagen itself isn't that much more specifically better for giving you amino acids to improve your ligament injury. So by all means, please make sure you got enough protein, you got enough aminos in your system, but make sure that you're doing the rehab, you're getting massage to stimulate the blood flow, and you're not doing things that are going to stress and strain the ligament more, like doing more jiu-jitsu. Take your time off, let it heal. And I'm sure that if you have an adequate diet, you'll be sweet. If you want to use collagen protein, power to you. Hope that helps. Yeah, vitamin D. So the more vitamin D you have in your system, the stronger you will be. You will actually be able to generate more force. And they actually did a test to do this in women. So they did a test. This is by Charles Pollock when they did a study on women all around the world, and they didn't train, and they tested their grip strength. And women in Cuba per capita have the strongest grip strength in the world. They also have the highest level of vitamin D, and that is directly correlated. Mark, my guy, appreciate you. So here's the deal, guys. Vitamin D helps you get stronger. It also helps your sense of well-being. So they did another study in women who were depressed, postnatal depression, and they checked their vitamin D levels. And for most of them, they're staying inside with their baby. They weren't getting out and about, getting the sun. And so what they did was they supplemented them on super high dose vitamin D, and it increased their sense of well-being. Now, it didn't like cure their depression, but it had them feeling better about themselves. They felt healthier, and they were more likely to do activity, which also made them feel healthier. So it had this compounding spiral up, right? So vitamin D not only makes you stronger, it makes you feel better about your own health and well-being. So that's why vitamin D is number 3 for me. Cool. Now, whey protein, my friends, WPI. I love it. It is the easiest way for you to get protein in other than eggs. We're not going to say eggs as a supplement because it's a food and you should just eat them all the time. The whole egg, if you're eating egg whites, you're tripping. You need to get that yolk in your system. Just saying. If you're worried about cholesterol, then you need to worry about inflammation. That's a topic for another time. Eat your eggs. But that's not the answer. Number 4, I'm going to take a sip of tea. Cheers. WPI, why? It's absorbed very easily. It mixes easily. If you've got the right one, it's delicious. I have like a vanilla ice cream flavor. It's incredible. I think it's like 26 grams of protein. Me, I digest dairy quite well. If you struggle with dairy, you can look at other sources like maybe collagen protein. Some people like pea protein. Good luck to you. It tastes terrible. It's not very bioavailable. Soy protein has improved, and the bioavailability is pretty good. So if you mess with soy protein, that's cool. Lucky you. But ideally, WPI is one of the simplest ways for you to cover your nutritional bases. So, for example, straight after rolling, you've had hard rounds. As much as you want to get your water in, having some, because the other thing is too, they didn't know this for a long time. You actually get an insulin response from having WPI because whey protein isolate absorbs very quickly. It's one of the easiest digestible forms of protein. So you get your WPI in, and whether you have it with water, milk, oat milk, however you like it, you get it in, and then boom, your body actually releases insulin, which helps calm your body down, and it helps stabilize what's going on digestively. So you're not still in this crazy chaotic state, which makes you super stressed until you go to bed, and then you can't sleep. So like we said, like we want to re-regulate the nervous system, do your stretches after class, maybe do some breath work, and then straight away, you've got your shaker, you've got your scoop of whey protein in there, water, milk, whatever, chug it, drive home. You're going to feel awesome coming home from training. So WPI is number 4 for me. Any kind of protein if you can't mess with dairy. Number 5, my friends, we're talking fish oil. Now, I love to get my fish oil from fish. I have upped the amount of fish in my diet in the last 10 years. I eat fish 2 or 3 times a week now, whereas before I might eat it once every so often. But the thing that I always have done, especially when I'm cutting weight for competitions, is sardines. So sardines and mackerel, being very small fish, have really high amount of fat in their body. So super high amounts of fish oil, EPA, omega-3s, omega-6, omega-9, even though like omega-6 is meant to be questionable for you, but doesn't matter. Basically, it's got all the omegas in there. It stinks though. That's the thing. If you want to alienate your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your workmates, just get a can of sardines open. Woof. You don't want that smoke, people. I'm telling you. So I don't mind. I don't mind if people leave me alone because I'm eating sardines. Thank goodness you can all go away. For some people out there, they may not be able to get fish very easily, or they might not be able to stomach the sardines. Fish oil is a very easy way. Also, krill oil, but then you got to look at the ethical thing with krill, because the whales need the krill and they also keep the ocean alive. And if we fish out all the krill, we destroy the ocean. But we'll have very nice skin. We'll be very healed and anti-inflammatory. It's up to you. It's your call. The reason why fish oil is so big, it supports your digestive system. So you have to know that 80% of your immunity is through your gut. So even though the skin is your first layer of immunity, essentially, if you are not replenishing your gut lining, which is fat, it's a mucus. If you're stressing your body all the time and you're not eating fats, it's anti-inflammatory. Fish oil is anti-inflammatory. So if your body is all inflamed and stressed from training so hard and stressful job and studying really hard at uni or whatever you do, that will help lower your inflammatory markers, whether it's in your veins, in your guts, in your brain. Like basically fat crosses the blood-brain barrier. And if you want to reduce inflammation in your brain, so you get hit in the head for MMA, it's actually going to help you to have some fish oil or krill oil, but essentially we've got to get those omegas in. Why do I use sardines when I'm cutting weight? That's a great question. So essentially, what they have shown is the thing that makes you feel fullest for longest. They did this study in the third world. It was a study by the UN, and they're trying to work out how to feed people in Africa, basically in parts of really drought-stricken Africa. How can they feed them on the least amount of calories and make them feel the fullest? Here is the deal. The thing that makes people feel the fullest is a soup or like a goulash. And so I would take a vegetable soup. I would actually put psyllium husk in it. So I would put like fiber, like basically plant fiber that dissolves. Now, don't put too much because then it turns into freaking jelly. And trust me, that vegetable jelly ain't good. I tried it. It's disgusting. So just a few little teaspoons of that into a soup. The fiber makes you feel full. But essentially for the calories, it makes you feel fuller, but it keeps your immune system functioning. When you're cutting weight, your immune system's under immense stress. And you'd probably see it in MMA as well. If you don't know people in jiu-jitsu, if you mess up your weight cut, you can't perform well. And we've all seen it. Like TJ Dillashaw, when he cut too much weight and he lost to Cejudo, his cut was poorly managed. He also went far too light, and he was a total lightweight. Dillashaw's a monster. And whatever you say about him using EPO, he didn't manage his weight cut. The thing that I've suffered in the past is when I was cutting weight too hard, my immune system crashed. In order for me to get my minimum amount of calories in so I could lose as much weight as possible and still keep my immune system functioning, I'd make sure that I had a certain amount of fish oil in my diet. So I would potentially take fish oil caps, but it's actually cheaper to eat sardines. And at one point in my life, I was very broke ass. So I was just eating tins of vegetable soup, bit of plant fiber, and some sardines, one meal a day. And I was able to cut down to 72 kilos. I walk around at 89 kilos. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't cut 17 kilos. I lost about 5. And then I had to cut 12 kilos. So there it is. Just letting you know it's possible without completely wrecking your immune system. So I'm just going to recap, guys. Now, I hope that helps you. KXE. Kexi. Cool nickname. I'm not sure if that's actually your name. Top 5. Number 1. I haven't been reading it. I wrote magnesium. Now I'm going to put iron/mineral supplement, which is what I think we all need because we don't get enough of the good minerals. Number 3, vitamin D. And you don't have to take my word for it, guys. You can literally do a bit of Googling and this will come up. Like this is very well known within the health and fitness industry. But the thing about, dropping to 82. Yeah, the veggie jelly soup, trust me, you probably don't need it, to be honest. That was just me being real extreme. Don't worry about the psyllium husk. It's not good times. Vitamin D, WPI, get it up you. Whey protein isolate. If you don't know what WPI is, good luck to you. And fish oil. So look, guys, at the end of the day, we all want to have good eating habits. If you are pushing your body really hard, you need help. And some of those guys that you look at who are amazing are on steroids. So you're like, I want to be like them. You're not going to take the steroids. You at least need to make sure nutritionally you're solid. If you look at these 5 things, these things are covering your recovery, your muscle building, your nervous system, your brain, your immune system, is going to help you across the board. I'm not saying you got to go out there and take a big gang of supplements, but what I am saying is get a blood test, find out if you're deficient in any way, fix that shit, get the subs you need, and it will help your BJJ. Anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in. Look, I'm going to hang on here for another little while. If you have any other questions, hit me up right now. You don't just have to just take my bloody soapbox diatribe about whatever I'm talking about. You can feel free to ask me a question totally unrelated to this topic. So also, if you're not already on our group, we have a Facebook community page, which is literally Bulletproof for BJJ Community. Search it on Facebook, get on there, ask us questions, answer our polls. Cool news coming, guys. The app is, we're just going through the last criteria on developers to get the Bulletproof for BJJ app. You should be seeing it come July, August this year. It's going to be exciting. And it's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff on there that isn't in the function of the website. The other thing too is we are, it's a little bit under wraps, but I'm going to share it with y'all. We're looking at maybe doing a sup. So if you get on board with the Facebook community, because both Joey and I, we're trying to do the best for ourselves as jiu-jitsu guys, and we're trying to do the best for you people as jiu-jitsu crew. And we feel like there's not enough good things designed for the jiu-jitsu community. And we're here as your guys to help that happen. So jump on the Facebook community, post some questions. I can relate it back to these YouTube lives and then get your questions answered. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your hard work. And between now and when I see you next, stay bulletproof.